I'd like to ask you something. When someone offers you help, what is your first response? Not the one you think about, but the automatic one, the one that comes before thought. Is it, yes, please, and thank you? Or is it, no, I'm fine, I've got this, really, it's okay? When someone pays you a compliment, like a genuine one, what do you do with it? Do you let it land and say thank you and mean it? Or does something in you immediately deflect, minimize, and find a way to give it back before it gets too close? And when was the last time you looked at yourself, really looked and felt something soft, something kind, something that wasn't a criticism or a list of everything still needing to be fixed? Now, I spent most of my life unable to receive anything. Not help, not compliments, not love, not even from myself. And today I'd like to talk about why and what it took to change it. Welcome back to the Wonders Within podcast. I'm Nikki Denham, founder of Wellness Wonders Australia. And today we are talking about the heart chakra, opening after pain and learning slowly, uncomfortably and beautifully to receive love, starting with the most important source of all, you. Now, I've always been strong and independent, and for a long time I wore that like a badge of honor, like it was a character trait to be proud of. Look how capable I am. Look how little I need from anyone. Look how well I hold it all together on my own. But here is what I know now. That independence wasn't a strength. It was a wound wearing strength's clothing. And if I do everything myself, no one can let me down, no one can break me, and no one can get close enough to hurt me. And that was the logic underneath it. Not conscious, not chosen, just running quietly in the background, shaping every interaction, every relationship, and every moment someone tried to get close to me. Now, I have loved deeply many times and been hurt deeply many times. And somewhere along the way, without ever deciding to, I built walls. Now, not dramatically and not all at once, just brick by brick, quietly and efficiently. The way a woman who has learned that love costs more than it gives learns to protect herself. And the walls worked in the ways that walls always do. They keep the pain out, but they kept everything else out too. Now, I gave endlessly. That part never stopped. I could pour myself out for other people without a second thought. But receiving and accepting help, accepting kindness, accepting love, that I could not do. Because receiving meant being vulnerable, and vulnerable meant exposed. And exposed for a woman with a history like mine meant danger. But then I started the healing work. And somewhere in that work, I decided I'm going to run an experiment. And I told myself, if anyone offers to do something for me, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say thanks. Not maybe, not no thank you, I'm fine. I will say yes. And I want to tell you, it was deeply uncomfortable at first. My whole body resisted it, the quiet panic that rose up every time someone tried to help. And I had to override that automatic no and say, yes, thank you, instead. I started to understand it as leaning into my feminine and into vulnerability and into the part of me that was allowed to be helped, that was allowed to need something. That part of me that didn't have to do it all alone to be worthy of her place in the room. And then came the compliments. Oh, the compliments. My previous response to a compliment was an immediate redirect. Someone might say, oh, I love your dress. And before I'd even process the kindness behind it, I'd say, thanks, I got it on sale, or some variation of this. Downplaying, deflecting, making myself smaller before they could see that I'd taken up any space. I started practicing just saying, thank you, and nothing after it. Just, thank you. Simple, terrifying, but necessary. And I thought that was the work itself, learning to receive from other people. And even though that did help, I didn't know yet that it went way deeper than that. And then that's where the mirror work came into it. Now, I'd like to tell you about this one specifically because it was a moment my heart cracked open in a way that nothing else had cracked it. Now, in the session, I stood in front of the mirror, looked into my own eyes and said, I love you just the way you are. You are worthy just as you are. You do not have to do anything to be worthy or loved. Now, obviously, there was a lot more to the session than this. However, I was not prepared for what happened in that session. The tears came immediately, not gently. in a wave, because some part of me that had been waiting a very long time to hear those words from anyone from anywhere, I had now finally heard them and really felt them. And I felt them from myself. And in that moment, I understood something that I'd never understood before. I'd spent my entire life looking for love in the wrong direction, outward in people who simply couldn't give it to me, in relationships that confirmed my unworthiness rather than dissolve it, in the exhausting performance of earning what should have just simply been mine, when the whole time the love I was searching for was right here, available and waiting inside me. And I now know that I am my first love, and everything, and I mean everything, changed for me when I finally understood that. Now, I do want to talk about the heart chakra and just explain a little bit about it. So your heart chakra is the fourth of the 7 chakras, and it sits glowing green at the center of your chest. And it is the bridge between the lower chakras, which govern our physical and personal worlds, and the upper chakras, which govern our connection to something larger than ourselves. It governs love, compassion, connection, forgiveness, and our capacity to give and receive with openness. Now, when the heart chakra is open and flowing, we feel genuine warmth towards others and towards ourselves. We can give without depletion, we can receive without discomfort, and we can be hurt and still remain open. We can love without losing ourselves. Now, when it is blocked, and for so many women who have experienced pain, loss, betrayal, or child wounding, we give from a place of performance rather than genuine abundance. We receive with discomfort or not at all. We protect ourselves with walls that feel like strength but then function like isolation. And here is what I'd like you to hear. A closed heart is not a character flaw. It is an intelligent response to a life that taught you that openness was dangerous. Your heart closed because it was trying to protect you, and it did its job. The work now is not to tear down those walls. It is to gently and consistently show the heart that it is safe to open again, and that is done with practice. Through the small daily acts of receiving a compliment, an offer of help, a moment of kindness, and choosing to let them land rather than deflect them. Through compassion towards yourself, through mirror work, through the radical and quietly revolutionary act of becoming your own source of love, rather than for waiting for it to arrive from somewhere else. Through forgiveness, not for the people who hurt you, but for yourself, for the ways you abandon yourself in the searching for that love, for the walls that you built up to keep out the good along with the bad. The heart wants to open. It was always designed to be open. It just needs to know that it's safe to do so. Now, here's what I'd love for you to sit with this week. So go grab your journal, find a quiet moment, and ask yourself, where do I deflect love? Where do I say no thank you when someone offers help? Where do I downplay a compliment before it can land? And where do I give endlessly and receive nothing and call it strength? And then I'd love for you to try the mirror work. Find a quiet moment, stand in front of the mirror and look directly into your own eyes and repeatedly say out loud, I love you just the way you are. Now you can change that to something that deep down you know that you need to hear. I am worthy. It could be any variation. And I just want you to notice what happens. Now, if the tears come, let them, because that is the heart beginning to open. And if it feels strange or uncomfortable or even a little ridiculous, that is perfectly okay too. Do it anyway. Come back to it tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. Because the most important love story of your life is the one that you have with yourself. And it is never too late to begin it. Now, when I sat with myself, the woman looking back at me at the mirror was someone I had ignored for a very long time. She was the woman waiting to hear those words from everyone else, anyone else. Now, she deserved better than that, and so do you. Now, if this episode made you recognize the closed heart, the deflection, and the giving without receiving, I want you to sit with that for a moment. Heart chakra work, mirror work, self-compassion. These help the slow and courageous practice of learning to receive from others as well as from yourself, because an open heart changes everything. Now, I'd love for you to pop over to my socials and say hi. I love hearing from you all, and I will pop all of the ways to contact me in the show notes below. But I just want to say thank you for joining me again today, and I want to leave you with something simple. I am not cynical anymore. I take people at face value. I accept help because I love myself enough to need it sometimes. I hear a compliment and I let it land because I love myself enough to believe it might be true. And if someone hurts me, it doesn't touch my worth anymore because my worth is not in their hands. It never was. Now, if people want to leave my life, I wish them well genuinely, and I just return to myself because I am my first love. And from that place, everything is possible. Now, until next time, bye for now.